If you have been feeling a different kind of fatigue, an unexplained discouragement, a desire to withdraw, even when you are not sad, then listen closely. This may not be weakness. It may be your spirit going through a deep realignment. Many chosen ones are feeling this, and perhaps you haven't told anyone, but deep down, you know that something is changing. The truth is that after a spiritual awakening, there comes a silence, an emptiness that is not pain, but is also not joy. It is a kind of pause, as if God has pressed the pause button within you. You look around and notice that what once made sense no longer motivates you. The plans, the old dreams, even the places and the people. Everything starts to lose its color. And this does not mean that you are wrong. It means that you are growing. This sudden discouragement is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of transition. It's as if your soul is saying, I no longer want to live on autopilot. I didn't come just to complete tasks. I want purpose, truth, depth. And this is where many get scared, because they were not taught to deal with this kind of silence. But it is part of the process. It's like the soil being prepared before receiving the new seed. Chosen ones feel this impact more intensely because their calling is not common. And everything that is not common requires different preparation. God is clearing the ground of your soul. He is removing what no longer serves to make space for the new that is coming. So before we continue, I want to ask you something important. If this content is already making sense to you, if you are feeling this connection now, please subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and leave your like. Here, we talk about what many experience but cannot explain, and together, we will put words to processes that the world does not understand, but heaven recognizes. Have you noticed how suddenly what used to motivate you simply stopped making sense? Things that once excited you no longer cheer you up. You make an effort, try to react, but nothing seems to work. It's as if the flame has gone out. But what many do not realize is that this pause is not the end of everything. In fact, it could be the beginning of something much greater. Before your spiritual awakening, perhaps you were driven by goals, expectations, and that desire to show results to the world. You wanted to be recognized, successful, applauded, and that is not wrong. But when God starts to awaken you for real, something inside you changes. What used to push you no longer serves you. It's like putting old gasoline in a new car. The engine stutters. This breakdown, this discouragement, is a sign that your soul no longer wants to move at the same pace as before. You are not losing energy. You are changing fuel. You are stopping your search for motivation in external things, and beginning to learn that true strength comes from within, comes from God, comes from your purpose. What was once done out of pressure will now be done out of direction. When you awaken spiritually, you begin to see what was behind your actions. Many times what seemed like a noble goal was actually just a way to fill a void. You sought applause because you didn't feel value. You wanted quick results because you felt behind. You chased achievements to feel important. But now, you no longer want that. This process is not easy. It is scary. You feel lost inside. It seems that nothing is fun anymore. But it's not because everything has ended. It's because God is emptying what was superficial to fill it with something deeper. He is removing the outside noise so you can hear His voice within you better. At this moment, many people think they are entering depression. And of course, it is important to take care of emotional health. But for many chosen ones, what is happening is not a psychological problem. It is spiritual. It is the soul asking for a break, a breather, a pause to reorganize. It's as if God is saying, calm down, you are not late. I am just changing the route. You are not unmotivated. You are being transformed. You are leaving behind the desires of the old you to discover the desires of the new you. And in the meantime, everything seems empty indeed. It's normal. The old fuel has dried up, but the new one is still being prepared. This takes time, but when it comes, it will be light. It will be true. Do not be too hard on yourself. Don't try to go back to who you were before. Don't force a joy that you don't feel. Just allow yourself to go through this desert with faith. Remember, even the people of Israel had to cross the desert before reaching the promised land. The path of the chosen goes through emptying, because only those who empty themselves can be filled with God. Trust the process. The discouragement did not come to bring you down. It came to align you. It came to show that now you will walk not by performance, but by presence. Not by obligation, but by conviction. God is pulling you out of autopilot to place you in purpose, and that is worth everything. If you are going through this, take a deep breath. It's okay not to feel in control. It's okay not to know exactly what to do right now. God knows, and He is guiding everything. Stay strong. Your motivation has not died. It is just being replaced by something purer, stronger, more eternal. When you awaken spiritually, something happens that few people talk about. A void appears. It's as if you are between two worlds. You are no longer who you were before, but you also don't yet know who you are becoming. And this phase can be confusing, silent, and lonely. But what seems like a limbo is actually a sacred place where God works profoundly. This pause you are experiencing is not failure. It is not regression. It is a time of transition. It's as if God has pressed the pause button to reconfigure everything inside of you. Thoughts, emotions, habits, desires. Everything is being reorganized. And yes, this is tiring. It gives a feeling of paralysis. But it is necessary, because you will no longer live in the same way. Before, your soul rushed to achieve the goals of the world. Now it has been invited to rest in the purposes of heaven. However, resting, for someone who has lived their whole life running, brings a type of discomfort. The mind wants to produce, do, prove. But the spirit wants to silence, listen, align. And it is in this conflict that many chosen ones think they are wasting time, but they are not. This pause is where God speaks the loudest. When He silences everything around you, it is so that you finally hear His voice from within. It is in this silence that He shows you what needs to leave, what needs to enter, what you must leave behind. And that is where true alignment begins. Not with the world, but with heaven. During this period, it may seem like nothing is happening, but a lot is happening. It's just internal, invisible. It's like a plant that grows beneath the earth before breaking through the soil. You see nothing on the surface, but God is working on the roots. He is preparing the ground for something new to blossom. In this phase, you might feel like isolating yourself. This is not strange. It is a natural movement of the soul that is in transition. What once attracted you no longer makes sense. Conversations seem empty. Places lose their sparkle. You begin to value silence, solitude, time with God. And this is a sign that your essence is being healed and realigned. It is also at this moment that some connections dissolve. People drift away, cycles close, plans change. Do not resist. It is part of the process. God is removing what no longer matches who you are becoming. Because to receive the new, you need to be light. And sometimes, even what was good needs to leave to make space for what is better. This interval between who you were and who you will be is precious. Do not try to rush it. Do not force answers. Do not demand productivity. Just be present. Allow yourself to feel, pray, listen, rest. Because it is in this space that God prepares you for the next phase. And when it arrives, you will understand why the pause was so necessary. Remember, even Jesus withdrew to the desert. Even he needed silence, solitude, and preparation. So if you feel you are stopped, remember that God is preparing you. His timing is different from ours. And when he acts in silence, it is usually because he is doing something too profound to be explained with words. If you are in this pause now, receive this message. This is sacred. God is taking care of you. He is aligning you with the mission. And when this process is over, you will come out stronger, wiser, more filled with his presence. When you begin to awaken spiritually, you notice that things change inside before they change outside. What motivated you before no longer carries the same weight. That rush for validation, that effort to fit in, that fear of being misunderstood. Everything starts to lose strength. And in place of the noise that once guided your steps, silence begins to emerge. But it is not just any silence. It is the voice of the soul. And it does not shout. It whispers. Those who are chosen feel this more intensely. It's as if the soul begins to speak a new language. And at first you don't understand it very well. Your old desires have quieted, but the new ones have not yet fully emerged. This creates an empty space within you. And many confuse this with sadness, laziness, or lack of faith. But it is not that. It is simply the beginning of a deeper listening. The soul speaks softly, subtly. It expresses itself in sensations, perceptions, and discomforts. Sometimes you are in an environment, and something inside you constricts. Other times, you meet a person and feel a strange energy, even if they are smiling at you. There are days when everything seems right on the outside, but inside, something tells you that it is not the way. These are the whispers of the soul, and ignoring them can be costly. Many confuse this time with discouragement. They think, "What is wrong with me?" But there is no wrong. There is a new alignment happening. You are being tuned spiritually. And to tune an instrument, you must stretch the strings. This can hurt. It can be uncomfortable. But it is necessary for your life to begin to play the melody that heaven expects from you. It is important to remember. God does not often speak in shouts. He speaks in silence. He speaks when you choose to step away from the noise. He speaks when you pray without haste. He speaks when you listen to the word with a quiet heart. The soul chooses the right moments to manifest. And when it speaks, we feel. It is not emotionalism. It is spiritual connection. If you are hearing these whispers, value them. They are precious. They are signs that your sensitivity is alive, that the Holy Spirit is guiding you gently. And in this noisy world, listening with the heart is one of the greatest proofs of spiritual maturity. Keep listening, keep seeking, because those who learn to listen to the soul will never again get lost in the noise of the world. Have you noticed that the more you grow spiritually, the more some hidden things inside you begin to surface? It's as if the light of God that entered you illuminates places in the soul that were previously in darkness. And what appears there is not always beautiful. Old wounds, fears, pride, desires that you thought you had already overcome come to the surface. And this is confusing, because you think, I am seeking God more. Why am I feeling all of this now? This is one of the most delicate phases of spiritual awakening. It is what we call the paradox of light, because the more light you receive, the more shadow appears. This does not mean you are getting worse. In fact, it is the opposite. It means that the light is doing what it needs to do, revealing what needs to be healed. It is at this point that many become frightened and think they are regressing, but they are not. They are being purified. They are being confronted with parts of themselves that were dormant. And as a chosen one, you cannot ignore this, because your mission requires a clean heart, an aligned spirit, and a restored soul. God will not send you to transform the world if you are carrying burdens that you do not even recognize. This phase may feel like sadness. It may feel like guilt, but in fact, it is a process of healing. And healing requires exposure. It is like a wound that needs to be opened before it can truly heal. It is not easy to look within and see what was unresolved, but it is necessary, because only those who allow themselves to heal can heal others. And there is one more important thing. The enemy will try to use this moment to paralyze you. He will tell you that you are not worthy, that God has withdrawn, that you have no more value. But that is a lie. It is precisely because you are valuable that God is cleaning your soul. It is precisely because He trusts you that He is preparing you. A chosen one who is truly chosen faces this spiritual mirror with courage, not to condemn themselves, but to free themselves, because only those who face their own shadow are capable of walking with true light. The light of God did not come to shame you. It came to free you. If you are in this moment now, breathe. Do not give up. You are not being destroyed. You are being refined. When everything seems to have collapsed, your plans, your motivation, your energy, something new begins to be born within you. But unlike other phases of life, this reconstruction happens in silence. There is no fanfare, no rush. It is as if the soul begins to piece together the fragments with more care, carefully choosing what should remain and what no longer serves. At this moment, you are not trying to go back to who you were. You are slowly discovering who you really are. And that is where the power of this phase lies. It is not a return. It is a rebirth. And it comes with more truth, more purpose, and an intuition that now speaks louder than any external opinion. You begin to see more clearly. What once seemed important no longer affects you as much. What used to take away your sleep now seems small. Not because you have lost sensitivity, but because your spirit has grown. What truly matters starts to stand out, and the rest gradually loses its shine. In this new time, motivation no longer arises from pressure or comparison. Now, it sprouts from within, like a calm but firm calling. You feel when it is time to say yes, and also when it is time to say no. And this brings a peace that you may have never experienced before. This new path is full of simplicity, but also filled with depth. You may even be doing fewer things in the eyes of others, but you are more aligned with your purpose. It is like walking with short but firm steps, and each step has meaning, direction, and presence. This phase is marked by more conscious choices. You begin to value time, energy, and the people who truly matter. What once drained you no longer finds space. You no longer accept losing yourself to please others. You have learned to prioritize yourself not out of ego, but out of purpose. And when you move with purpose, you no longer need to run. You flow. The right doors begin to open effortlessly. The right connections appear without effort, because now everything is being guided from within, not by external pressures. This is the moment when the chosen one begins to live from the inside out, with more truth, more presence, more discernment. The rebirth is not about becoming strong again. It is about being whole. And your soul has already understood this. If you feel you are in this phase, know it is the Holy Spirit guiding you with firm and silent hands. Allow yourself to rebuild calmly, for what is being born now has deep roots. And what has deep roots withstands any storm. Have you noticed that you have reached a point in your journey where what moves you is no longer the rush of the world? Before, you did things out of obligation, pressure, or fear of being left behind. Today, your fuel is different. It is peace. It is purpose. It is that clear feeling in your chest that says, I need to do this because it is what God has placed in me. This change is silent, but powerful. You stop chasing what others call success. Comparison loses its strength. Anxiety diminishes. You begin to feel pleasure in simple things and feel whole when you are doing what truly makes sense. The truth is that you no longer want to please the world. You want to serve the purpose that has been entrusted to you. This energy that arises from alignment with heaven is different. It does not shout. It does not pressure. It does not demand. It flows. It moves you with lightness, but with conviction. You may even be doing less in the eyes of others, but inside you, everything is more alive than ever. This is the place where the chosen one begins to manifest their true mission. When the soul and heaven walk in the same step, when the will of God becomes your will as well, and your life, even in silence, begins to impact others. Because those who live with truth naturally shine. If this is making sense to you, comment below. I am in search of my alignment. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, take the opportunity to subscribe and walk with us on this journey of the chosen ones. The truth is that the demotivation you felt was not the end of the line. It was just a curtain that heaven needed to close for a while, so you could see things with new eyes. In the midst of silence, pause, and doubt, something was born that cannot be explained with words. A kind of inner direction, a new north, a compass that does not point to the success of the world, but to the truth of the soul. You realize that you no longer need anyone's approval to move forward, that you don't need to show anything to anyone. All that matters now is to be at peace with God and faithful to what He has entrusted you. This clarity that emerges after the chaos is one of the greatest gifts that a chosen one can receive. You understand that discouragement was a kind of crossing, a bridge between the old version of you and the real version, the one that God always wanted to reveal. And when you cross this bridge, you become someone who can help others cross as well. Many around you are still confused. They still think they need to chase after everything. They still try to fit in, but you do not. You understood that true strength lies in being aligned with what is eternal, not with what is urgent. And it is at this point that your mission takes shape. Because from the moment you go through this process and remain steadfast, even without understanding everything, you become light for others. You become the one who points the way, not with beautiful words, but with presence, with testimony, with truth. This is the mark of the chosen. They go through the valley but come out of it with authority. Not an authority based on titles or fame, but one that comes from heaven. One that is recognized in the Spirit. Because those who have gone through the fire and continued carry something that the world cannot explain. If you have come this far and recognized yourself in all this, then you need to know you are not lost. What you have experienced was not weakness. It was transition. It was spiritual growth. It was God taking you out of an old way of living and preparing you for something much greater. This intense demotivation that felt like a bottomless pit was actually a calling, an invitation to dive deep, to align truly. It was God speaking to you in a different, quieter, deeper way. You are not discouraged. You are just no longer feeding on the same things as before, because what used to nourish your soul no longer serves who you are becoming now. And this is a sign of growth. From here on, you will not just be another one searching for meaning. You will be a channel, a bridge, a living source of light and direction for those who are lost. Because you have gone through the process. You faced the desert. You stopped being just someone who speaks and became someone who lives. You have not lost the light. You have become the light. Now tell me in the comments, what part of this process are you living today? Are you in the silent phase? Are you feeling the weight of emptiness? Or have you already begun to feel this new direction rising within you? Write it here. Let's build together a support network among the chosen. And of course, if this message touched your heart, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this today. We are here to grow together, to strengthen one another, and to stay firm until the purpose is fulfilled. You are light. You are chosen. And the best of God is yet to come.